FIFA World Cup 2026 Group Stage Schedule. Match 1, Mexico vs South Africa. Match 2, South Korea vs Czech Republic. Match 3, Canada vs Bosnia and Herzegovina. Match 4, United States vs Paraguay. Match 5, Haiti vs Scotland. Match 6, Australia vs Turkey. Match 7, Brazil vs Morocco. Match 8, Qatar vs Switzerland. Match 9, Ivory Coast vs Ecuador. Match 10, Germany vs Curaçao. Match 11, Netherlands vs Japan. March 12, Sweden vs Tunisia. Match 13, Saudi Arabia vs Uruguay. Match 14, Spain vs Cape Verde. Match 15, Iran vs New Zealand. Match 16, Belgium vs Egypt. Match 17, France vs Senegal. Match 18, Iraq vs Norway. Match 19, Argentina vs Algeria. Match 20, Austria vs Jordan. Match 21, Ghana vs Panama. Match 22, England vs Croatia. Match 23, Portugal vs Dr. Congo. Match 24, Uzbekistan vs Colombia. Match 25, Czech Republic vs South Africa. Match 26, Switzerland vs Bosnia and Herzegovina. Match 27, Canada vs Qatar. Match 28, Mexico vs South Korea. Match 29, Brazil vs Haiti. Match 30, Scotland vs Morocco. Match 31, Turkey vs Paraguay. Match 32, United States vs Australia. Match 33, Germany vs Ivory Coast. Match 34, Ecuador vs Curaçao. Match 35, Netherlands vs Sweden. Match 36, Tunisia vs Japan. Match 37, Uruguay vs Cape Verde. Match 38, Spain vs Saudi Arabia. Match 39, Belgium vs Iran. Match 40, New Zealand vs Egypt. Match 41, Norway vs Senegal. Match 42, France vs Iraq. Match 43, Argentina vs Austria. Match 44, Jordan vs Algeria. Match 45, England vs Ghana. Match 46, Panama vs Croatia. Match 47, Portugal vs Uzbekistan. Match 48, Colombia vs Dr. Congo. Match 49, Scotland vs Brazil. Match 50, Morocco vs Haiti. Match 51, Switzerland vs Canada. Match 52, Bosnia and Herzegovina vs Qatar. Match 53, Czech Republic vs Mexico. Match 54, South Africa vs South Korea. Match 55, Curaçao vs Ivory Coast. Match 56, Ecuador vs Germany. Match 57, Japan vs Sweden. Match 58, Tunisia vs Netherlands. Match 59, Turkey vs United States. Match 60, Paraguay vs Australia. Match 61, Norway vs France. Match 62, Senegal vs Iraq. Match 63, Egypt vs Iran. Match 64, New Zealand vs Belgium. Match 65, Cape Verde vs Saudi Arabia. Match 66, Uruguay vs Spain. Match 67, Panama vs England. Match 68, Croatia vs Ghana. Match 69, Algeria vs Austria. Match 70, Jordan vs Argentina. Match 71, Colombia vs Portugal. Match 72, DR Congo vs Uzbekistan.